Oshi, an anime this season that blew up harder than Shinji in front of a body. What this fantastic look into the dark side of the entertainment industry brought was not only literally the entire package for a brilliant anime, but a godlike opening with a godlike MV and a beautiful message behind it. And because I'm such a simp for fake personas, today I will be looking into the meticulously crafted lyrics of Idol by YOASOBI. I'm just saying, there's a reason this song is their first to reach top 10 Billboard Global 200. It's addicting. Before we start, I'm just gonna make one thing clear. This song is about Hoshino Ai. And if you disagree, then go back to your 9th grade English class because you must be literally blind. 9th grade Japanese class. This song is a look into Ai's fake onstage persona, her tactics, and her heart's deepest desires, shown by some lyrics being literal direct quotes of hers. But without further ado, let's get right into Ai. Wait, no, we begin with the entire first verse giving us an overall outlook at how people view Ai. That trademark invincible smile that burns as hot as media arson. The secrets nobody knows about the mysterious beauty that looks to be of endless depth. And even though no human is supposedly perfect, her imperfections can somehow be twisted into perfection. This is how the general world views top idol Ai. In the intro of the song, we get an introduction to Ai's perfect girl persona. Somebody so mysterious, the average Joe would need double the brain cells to figure out one of her 60 trillion secrets. Some may know it's a lie, yet they still worship this genius idol-sama because that is the image they were sold. Some people just want to be sold a perfect vision, a perfect dream, so as stated in the anime, they believe in this lie. You know what I call this? Gaslight yourself. Tell yourself it's making you stronger and the universe is just testing you. We begin the first verse with some questions, as all lessons in school do. What did I eat? What books did I read? Where would I go play? I ate Skittles, read Mein Kampf, and would go play at the Bermuda Triangle. Jokes aside, these are pretty generic questions, presumably ones the media is asking Ai. After all, when you're a top idol, even something as mundane as what you ate for breakfast can become a hot topic. Breaking news! Top idol declares Skittles as top breakfast meal because it's gay, apparently. Ai's answers are clearly more well thought out than mine, saying I haven't eaten anything, what I read's a secret, and fuck you to the last question because why would I want you stalking me when I go out to play? To be a top idol is to be elusive to any remotely intrusive questions, and the media knows this, blatantly stating it. They can't get shit on her no matter what they ask. Now if only big YouTubers had these brain cells. The verse continues talking about Ai's fake idol personality being so indifferent yet dazzling. This most likely refers to the professional smile mentioned in the first episode, where Ai smiles like a professional should, hence being dazzling. Yet since it's so by the books, if that makes sense, it could feel robotic, or lacks humanity like that one tweet stated. Glad to know Twitter is also insufferable in anime. This unfortunately makes sense though, since Ai's love to her fans all this time has been fake, so it's no wonder the smile wouldn't feel genuine. Then we have the line, the sweet taste of honey. Just like... Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! This is what I call the generic teasing strategy. You know, when you make someone feel like they're closing in on a secret yet can't seem to find the final answer? It's like they can taste the knowledge in front of them but don't have solid, reliable evidence and it drives them crazy. Yeah, like that. How to boost viewership 101. They got the clickbait on point. Wait, I got it. It's like why so many people say half-naked teasing can be hotter than normally fully naked people. Yes, like that, it's the tease. God damn, my hentai specialty sure came in handy. The strategy is also one ingrained in the anime where things like this happen. Yeah, I can be an airhead, but we've also seen that she's more careful than she lets on about keeping secrets, so who knows how airhead she truly is. Very fitting of the master of lies, but one thing remains true. Whether she's doing it on purpose or not, it led people on. It's great clickbait, it's great content. The next two lines are honestly very vague and can be taken in many ways, but I think it's probably to be taken as some sort of media response. No, can perhaps be the media not being happy with the elusive answers given. I refusing to answer interview questions, something along those lines. I do think the lines themselves could just be saying no without elaboration to be elusive. just like I would be, so the vagueness is probably done on purpose. The being related to the media is further backed up by the next few lines, clearly being gossip media trying to cook something with these questions. Except all their air fryers frying is air. The media relentlessly tries to get juicy info, but to no avail. Truly tragic. If you are the societal shit stain known as intrusive paparazzi. Now, everything up until now has been in the general public's perspective, and I think the chorus is too, but just these 4 lines of pre-chorus, in my opinion, is Ai's perspective. It may seem strange to randomly shove in 4 lines of Ai's thoughts here structurally, but I think it makes sense, and I'll explain why by the end of the song when we have the entire song deciphered. To love somebody is something I don't understand. A direct quote from Ai in the anime, depicting how she doesn't know how to love somebody because of her horrible upbringing. So now, when she tells her fans things such as "I love you," she doesn't know if that's the truth or a lie, and as a result, she doesn't even know if her own previous quote is still a lie or if it's grown into the truth. Despite this, life goes on, and even if she doesn't understand the sincerity of her own words, another person, and another one, falls for Ai. Another one falls in love with her onstage idol persona. Our chorus starts with everyone telling Ai that their eyes are on her, that yes, she is the ultimate life form. Except, you know, ultimate life forms don't die when they're killed. Ai dies when she's killed. Alright, the first 2 lines are quite self-explanatory, but what's interesting are the next 2. Never to appear again could on the surface refer to the fact that someone with as much natural charisma, or someone who blew up as hard as Ai will probably never come again. But if you take the next lines into consideration, perhaps it means unlike Doc and Selena, Ai will not be reincarnated. There is only one Ai, one star that could have ever shined this brightly. In particular, the phrase #1 star, Ichiban Boshi, has been used to describe Ai in the anime. So to all you people who wanted this cursed reality, you'll also be said fuck you. This next part I think is really a stretch, so I was honestly considering if I should still mention it, but it's interesting, so why not? Just take it with a grain of salt. I got curious why for the word never here, instead of using the generic zettai ni or nidoto I'm sure you've heard in anime, they use konrinzai, a word I've never heard of. A little googling led me to find out that it does in fact just mean never, but there's an interesting Buddhist origin behind the word. TLDR, the world was built of 3 layers. Furin, Suirin, Konrin. On the topmost layer, Konrin, lies the lands and the seas, where humans reside. Basically, Konrinzai is the deepest ends of the Konrin layer connected to the Suirin layer. So in the eyes of man, this is the deepest end, which is why the word can be used to refer to the end of a thing or the absolute limits. And I think this may be, perhaps, I don't know, be talking about how I push the absolute limits of charisma and fame to the deepest end of a perfect ultimate idol. And them emphasizing the never was to emphasize the fact that this will never happen again. There was only one Ai. But that's just a theory. A song theory. The last 4 lines we have in the first chorus are pretty straightforward. Ai tells the audience, "I love you" through her songs, captivating the audience as always. And even if those special eyes that demonstrate her charisma on stage, even with the many "I love yous" being thrown around, are a lie, it's a perfect love because lies are the most exquisite form of love. Yes, teacher, that's why I lied about doing my homework. I love you. It is fascinating to note that the I here is written in katakana instead of the usual kanji for love, most certainly referring to, well, Ai herself, as well as a double meaning. In fact, since Ai means love and Hoshi means star, Hoshi no Ai can mean love of the stars. A very fitting name for someone who shines as the #1 star and wants to learn about love. Well, certainly better naming sense than Aquamarine. That's awful. That's on the level of Exaya 12. The kanji is so fucked. Moving on to the second verse, we have not very kind words. According to my sister, an average day at an all-girls high school. These lines are pretty obviously from the other members of Bikomachi, jealous of Ai's massive success compared to them. The other members haven't explicitly been shown to hate Ai, but it was briefly mentioned that Ai wasn't really close with any of the other members. I mean, just think about it from a psychological standpoint. Yeah, your group is blowing up in popularity thanks to one girl, and you're literally the single toilet paper wipe after the bideting. Yeah, we get it. Ai is special. We're just extras that come with the main dish. Everything we've accomplished is just thanks to Ai. Sarcasm jabbing at Ai for shining so brightly. A stark contrast from all the shimmering praise from the first verse and chorus. Of course, the other idols act happy and everything on stage and maybe even behind curtains, but with this difference in skill, in fame, in treatment, there's no way jealousy and envy don't exist. We exist too. We're a part of Bikomachi too. Not all this is thanks to Ai. This isn't some made up drama. This isn't 90 Day Fiancé, the idol edition. This isn't a meme. This is true envy from one's heart at its finest form, and it burns real. They can't forgive all this spotlight hogging, especially because they know no human can be perfect. Yet, deep inside, they also understand Ai's natural charisma. They know they're basically inferior in every single way imaginable, so they can't forgive themselves for being so useless. And some way, somehow, Ai has perfected her idol persona to the point where no weaknesses can really be found in her. So if she's gonna take the spotlight, then she better actually be the perfect idol. She has to truly be stronger than everyone at all times, or they just can't accept being sidelined. Because if they're gonna be so badly outshined, then they need to see with their own eyes that they actually deserve to be outshined and it's not just some sham. God, these idols talk like shonen people. Are you sure Bakugo didn't just say fuck heroing and became an idol? Introducing Bikomachi member 2, Lord Explosion Murder. So I know the chorus sounds like it's talking about Ai, which it is, but I personally think it's actually a continuation of the other members' thoughts, except it's what they think Ai's philosophy is, and I'll explain why I think this later when we get to the structure. Most of it is actually quite straightforward, stating how Ai is worshipped as a legendary idol, truly the greatest that has ever existed. Things such as weaknesses cannot be found is indeed a part of Ai's idol philosophy, but also could be a self-response. What the other members think Ai is telling them, perhaps saying this as a form of assurance, or in direct response to what they were thinking about Ai. The side of their brain that goes, what if the potential, the fate of being the #1 star of all time truly resides within her? Maybe they actually show some weakness from time to time, and Ai is telling them not to as an idol, because you have to be perfect to be a good idol. After all, to be an idol is to sell a fake look, a fake dream to people. They don't need to see what they don't want to see. That's like working on your university PowerPoint in the middle of overnight karaoke. The psychopaths! Anything other than the one-of-a-kind performance Ai has demonstrated is a no-no, because this perfect vision of an idol is true love, the core of Ai's idol philosophy. Do you ever wonder if Ai, when retired at 40, would just become an author and go, idol philosophy, to exist is to be strong, to exist is to be perfect, to exist is to be fab too. We now go to the bridge, and this is really where you can start to feel the amazing songwriting, since I believe everything from this point onwards is from Ai's perspective. Having the same melody but slowed down compared to the intro, the first 4 lines of the bridge are like parallels to that of the intro. Ai understands that she's good at her signature smile and it fires up the media. The secret people find mysterious and would go crazy over? The one secret she will completely keep by all means. Aqua and Ruby, clearly shown in the MV. And we see this, that Ai was very careful as to keep the secret. Having multiple phones, each with their own purpose, using fucking phone boxes to communicate, etc. She seems perfect, even in areas where she lacks, because her entire career is built on a mountain of lies. Using this fake persona to make herself look perfect. A perfect liar she is, because this is her way of love. Fittingly, this is actually one of the lines she told the stalker when the stalker called her a liar. Yes, I suffered for you people having to rewatch this scene a few times for research. I think it took a few years off my life and productivity of sheer depression. God, I'm gonna see this in my dreams for years. Okay, depression over. Now we go to child chilling like a middle-aged Asian mom. There are a few ways I can think of how Ai interprets Aqua. Perhaps the beautiful sweating refers to Ai's visions of Aqua being a beautiful actor, sweating as he performs. You know, kinda like how they always portray the hot guys in sports anime? Or maybe it's Ai recognizing Aqua's hard work at a young age, being able to act well already, the sweat metaphorically meaning the hard work. Alternatively, and on a much darker note, since the MV shows teenage Aqua, which I unfortunately never got to see, except here, perhaps the sweat represents all of Aqua's future hardships and endeavors. His acting, his trauma, his revenge, everything. Or maybe someone has a sweat fetish. It is interesting to see how Ruby is hidden in the eyelids. Since Ai's eyes are a visual illustration of her charm, perhaps it's a showing of how teenage Ruby has grown up to have the same charm as Ai, even pursuing the same idol path as Ai under the same group name. Like mother, like daughter. Because they've both died once. The next line is what I think to be the most geniusly written line in the whole song. Singing, dancing, fluttering. All classic idol stuff. But who the fuck is Maria? Did I become a wall? Did I become a furry? I tried looking up the meaning behind the name Maria, and it kinda fits. Bits like star, beloved, sacred figures, they check out. If you really stretch it, Ai deals with bitter people, and Aqua is water? I wasn't exactly satisfied with this explanation, so I kept searching, and came across Saint Maria. Her story is quite a tragic one, and not one that ends happy either. Saint Maria grew up in a rough environment, had a bunch of siblings, blah blah blah, but there's this one particular part I want to focus on. There was a man, Alessandro, who was overly attached to Maria, and when his approaches were denied, he stabbed Maria. Maria unfortunately did not make it, but before passing away, forgave Alessandro, hoping to see him in heaven. Does this remind you of someone? Overly attached guy stabs girl he loves and girl forgives man before dying? Yeah, I think I've seen this somewhere. It's also ironic in a sense, in that the past two lines were hinting at Aqua and Ruby's futures, whereas this one is Ai's future. A star, beloved, a sacred figure, yet wound up with this cruel fate. The next line almost acts as an affirmation that yes, even though she's lied all this time, even though she's been stabbed like this, she's been trying to love all her fans, even now, and to her, again, lies are the most exquisite form of love. As if a flashback before death like in the anime, as if a parallel to the 4 lines of pre-first chorus at the beginning with the same melody, Ai finally speaks her true intentions, her true thoughts behind those lies. To love somebody is something she can't understand because she's never been loved or loved anyone, so she can't tell what it's like to truly love somebody from the heart. And as a parallel to her seeing how another fan falls for the lies, the fake Ai, she says that the lies will one day become true. A beautiful answer to her personal philosophy, as deeply connected as Earth and man's face. And we finally move on to a relatively easy to understand final chorus. Many of these lines are direct quotes from Ai in the anime, and rightfully so, seeing how these are her true thoughts behind the idol mask. One day she'll have it all. Happiness as an idol and happiness as a mother, because she's a greedy idol. Damn, her philosophy on life is like my philosophy on potato chips. She wants to love all her fans, not in the lying way she's been doing all this time, but from the heart properly, as true love. At the same size, the same level her fans love her. She can't do it yet, so she continues to lie today, hoping these lies one day become true. And the final few lines, well, they're self-explanatory if you finish episode 1. You and you obviously refer to Aqua and Ruby, and yeah, don't make me rewatch that scene again. A man's tear glands can only hold up so many times before they get fucking blown harder than the headphone users in an iShow speed video. They're Ai's final words before she dies. With her dying breath, she tells Aqua and Ruby, I love you. Her one wish, to love somebody, did come true in the end, because she knows from her heart that no part of the sentence was a lie. And with the sacrifice of me acquiring the skill Permanent Eye Sweat, we finished depicting the meaning behind all the lyrics, which is why I'd like to explain the way I personally think this entire song is structured. I've already pointed out the parallels with the intro and the pre-chorus, but the genius is behind the choruses. All the choruses show a different image of Ai. If you look back at both the first and second chorus, technically with the exception of this bitch word called you, all of this could be taken as Ai's response to the general public / other members. But I personally like thinking of it as first chorus equals to general perception and second chorus equals to other members' perception, because the entire thing is only about Ai's fake idol persona, what everyone sees on the outside. Meanwhile, the final chorus is Ai's true feelings. This is further supported by the fact that in the MV, you only see Ai performing on stage in the rabbit mascot suit in the first two choruses, while by the final chorus, you see Ai taking the mask off and performing as herself. The rabbit most likely being fake idol Ai, while the final performance being the true Ai, or at least what Ai wanted to be, truly loving her audience with her heart. It's also worth mentioning that in the bridge, where we begin to see Ai's true thoughts and desires, Aqua and Ruby are almost immediately mentioned, and it's the chorus after this bridge where Ai tells her true purpose in being an idol, her true desires, and what she hopes to accomplish. I think this really goes to show how much having kids started to change Ai, and how Ai really loved Aqua and Ruby. They gave her so much happiness and were the ones that finally taught Ai how to love somebody, something she wanted from the very beginning. God damn, teen moms can really learn something from Ai, you know? You hear me? Sub-Saharan Africa? And with that, we conclude another banger written by the legendary Ayase, Idol. A song describing the deceits of a shining idol on stage. A song about the life of the legendary idol Hoshino Ai, most of it describing her lies on stage, yet shifting towards the true her at the very end. Perhaps a reflection of how through all the deception and masks put on in her short but bright career, her lies finally became truths in the end.